The following is a fan-based discussion. All properties discussed are property of Toei Inc., Bandai, Hasbro, and Tsuburaya Productions. Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Tokutalk, our Villain Retrospective. Today we are talking about the villains from Super Sentai ToQger, Shadow Line.
Yes, the Shadow Line. The Emperor, all the nobility, a few generals sprinkled in there with a little bit of spice.
Good way to put it.
But yeah.
But so the Shadow Line, their goal to spread darkness throughout the land, and they certainly live up to it. Mm-hmm. The way they section off towns, the way they spread their darkness throughout it, and I think more than anything, one of the things that stands out to me about Shadow Line, more than any villain group in Toku, it's their design work.
Oh my god.
The design work that went into this.
Even the foot soldiers.
Oh yeah, foot soldiers are, in terms of how they look, yeah, it's the best.
It's the hat for me.
Yeah. It's the hat, it's the suit actors selling the look, it's a sum of its parts.
I guess they have to sort of combat against how plain the Rangers look in comparison.
True, but I think the way they look also works for design as well.
Yeah.
But the way, because they are a branch of nobility. We have the emperor and we have the nobles beneath him.
Very steampunk.
It is very Victorian steampunk looking stuff.
I do. I love
that. Baron Nero and Madame Noir in particular.
Yeah.
Are the ones who I think are the most steampunky of the bunch. But
I think she has guns under her dress.
Very Persona 5.
That might just be me misremembering and overlaying Persona 5 onto that. But
it might be. I don't remember that, but who knows? Been a while since I've watched it.
It would be something I would have.
So, when we think of Shadow Line, what is one of the first things that comes to your mind? How do you feel looking back at them?
Just like Viram, backstabbing. A lot of that. But it's a little more blatant this time because the nobility reference is just so front and center.
It's who they are.
Yeah.
Because with Viram, it was that they were, nobles from another dimension, but they felt very otherworldly in terms of their design. Yeah. While they are clearly inspired by, Victorian era costuming and steampunk looks of that kind of aesthetic. Yeah. So you can look at it and you can tell, like, oh, I see what this is trying to emulate.
Yeah.
If you're familiar with that sort of aesthetic.
Yeah.
But yeah, the way we have our Emperor Zet at the top, who is not introduced until a ways into the show. It's just
he takes a little bit.
He takes a little bit to get there, and even he is just like a dude when you first meet him.
Yeah.
And then we have his nobles and his generals who are all have their schemes, and they all know that they're scheming. That's one thing I like, is like everyone knows that everyone is out to get somebody.
That's sort of just like how a royal court would be.
Yeah.
Where
I know you're plotting something, and I know what it is. I just have to be one step ahead of you to try and outwit you.
Yeah. I love it. The villains were the thing that stood out to me the most in this show.
Yeah, I agree.
They were just so interesting. You started getting really invested when all the backstabbing started to happen, which is why I really understand why a lot of people like watching period dramas like this, because that's just like the show.
Period dramas are just good dramas that have to do with nobility or royalty.
It's true. Like the show Rome, which should have had a season 3.
Would have been too expensive.
I know.
That's why it got canceled.
Such a good show. Anyway, my sadness. This show was just, especially seeing Madame Noir be sort of the puppet master for her daughter. Until that didn't work anymore. she got banished. She tried to have her daughter marry the emperor, which happened, and then she consumed him. But then the emperor broke out of her and banished Madame Noir.
He let them have their fun.
That's pretty much exactly what he did. He just let them do what they wanted for a little bit until he decided, I'm good.
Yeah.
And then decided to he banished Madame Noir. General
Gritta.
Yeah.
The daughter's name.
Gritta really did not want to do anything that her mother said because she was in love with General Schwartz.
She was in love with General Schwartz, and I actually really liked that part of the show.
Same.
Because Gritta is a member of the nobility, and Schwartz is a general. He's below that.
Mm-hmm.
He's military.
Yeah.
The two of them can't. It's not a thing. Nobles marry nobles.
Ooh, it's scandal.
It's a scandal. A royal scandal. My.
Oh.
What the? Okay. Why not?
It's the Spanish novella in me.
Telenovela, sí.
It's the novella.
But I love Ricardo.
Yes.
But that scandal I think is a good word for it, though, of that scandal behind the scenes of that scene where he gifts her the the handkerchief.
Yeah.
And the way she holds on to that.
That is the
or do I have it backwards? Was it her?
No, it was the other way around.
It was the other way around, okay.
Yeah. But she saw him with it, so he had to
the way she's always pining after him from the shadows.
Literally.
And he knows.
Yeah.
But he also knows, no, we can't be together. It's your promise to the Emperor. I can't get on his bad side because he's a career military man. My duty is to the Emperor for the glory of the Empire.
And then her mother trying to work against.
But then eventually we see that start to waver the way he starts siding with the ToQgers at certain points because Lady Gritta is someone who I must protect. And I can never openly admit that I have feelings for her, lest, my honor and, whatnot be disrupted. But here we go.
The only thing I really wish, especially they did with Gritta, I really wish they redid her design. It doesn't match anything else, and that sort of bothers me.
She is the most monstrous out of them. She looks a bit like Grimace wearing a lace doily. She does. But
I really wish they would have given her a new design or something halfway through the show. Especially because the way that she's dressed makes her look really young.
She does look like an infant.
Yeah.
She looks like she's wearing or it looks like she's wearing doll's clothes, which I think is a more apt comparison.
Especially because of the way that her mother was trying to dress her up for the Emperor.
The way she's dressed up for an Emperor, the way she is presented as a plaything, as a means to an end for her mother to ascend to power, or for the Emperor to gain more power, however she wants to be used. And Schwartz was the only one who was like, I see Lady Gritta as a woman. I see her as not a tool to be used, but as an object to protect and to love.
Especially because when you add the other two with
object is the wrong word. Person
with Baron Nero and the Marchioness. Baron especially is very much what's what I'm looking for, a toady for the Emperor more than anything, or maybe like a sycophant. I think is a much more
sycophant is a good word. Toady is also a good word. He has his loyalties, and they are to the Emperor. And if I stay within his good graces, I will snivel my way up and down the garden path if it means that I can reap the benefits.
Yeah, and the Marchioness, she hates his.
He rides the coattails.
Yeah, and the Marchioness, she is really the Emperor's nanny.
Yeah.
For
the wet nurse to return.
She's like, oh, you have to do it this way. You can't do it this way.
No. My Emperor, no.
Don't look at the lights. Look at the darkness. That's where the power is. And that's really her. Even though she comes in sort of late, she sort of still makes an impact because of the way that she's acting towards the Emperor.
Great design, too.
Oh, yeah. I love everybody, let's face it. But, yes. It's so good. Also, I just love the green. I don't think anybody else wears green, and it's just her. So she ends up standing out a little bit more because of that. We also got to talk about ToQger because
he was a member, yeah.
Yeah, they have quite a few defective members in this.
Yeah.
And a couple of banished people. They end up banishing Madame Noir. Zarum left. Gritta defected at the end, and who knows what happened to the Emperor. So it's just all really interesting to see how the show works with its villains more or less being the main characters of the show. Speaking of main characters, we have to do an episode on Leo and Melee, and Long and the others.
I know.
Yeah.
But I think them, the Emperor still being at large at the end of the show, I think speaks to the theme of the show, that because it's all about light banishing darkness. Quite literally, this is light banishing darkness. The darkness is always going to be there.
Yeah.
Is it something, I don't know that it's going to, the show could be, this is just me pontificating. It could be the darkness is always going to be there. It's not something you can ever permanently banish. It's something that could rise to power again.
Yeah.
But it's something that, the ToQgers, whenever they are needed, they will always be there to rise to the call.
Which is why we're really hoping they get it 10 years after.
Yeah. Which will be in the next couple of years if they do.
Yeah, I'm solely just hoping they do it to finish off at least Zed's story.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's sort of needed in this case because that's the only plot thread that was sort of left open. And finishing that off with, put a good bow on the show.
Put a button on it.
Yeah.
I want to talk about Zed.
Okay.
I love that because the first time we meet him, and whenever he's in his human guise, he's always dressed in white.
Yeah.
As opposed to his underlings who are always dressed in darker tones.
Yeah.
And I love that we have a villain who is fascinated by his own weakness.
Yeah.
Where he is in love with light. The Emperor of Darkness is in love with just light, the concept of light, everything that sparkles and shines is something that he can't get enough of because he's just fascinated by it.
Yes.
And I love that. That's something I would like to see going forward is a fascination with the thing that could be your very downfall. Because just being outside is enough to weaken him severely.
Yeah. Being
in sunlight, like reverse Superman.
I loved it. He's such an interesting villain. He was just... Because he seemed really sort of innocent for a good portion of the show. But I think that was done on purpose to mirror Wright.
Yeah, because Wright is the first one he meets.
Yeah, at the amusement park.
Mm-hmm.
Which is, I honestly think, one of the best introductions we've ever had to like a villain ever.
It's a really good... Also, this is another thing we don't see often is one human against a bunch of monsters.
Yeah.
Against a bunch of, people in suits or like monstrous entities. But he's the one actual like physical human we see on the ground, which is interesting.
I'm trying to think, when was the last time we saw that outside of Aki Ranger? I want to say Galanger.
Could be, yeah.
Yeah.
It happened in Bokenger, I know.
Technically, and I'm going to say technically here, Shinkenger. But Juzo was like rarely ever with them.
True.
So.
But also Zed is like the only one.
Yeah.
As opposed to some of the others, but
yeah. Oh, he's just so good.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
I think that about wraps it up. Unless you got anything else to add?
No. I just say they're all very, very good. ToQger is a good show, and I'm really going to say it's because of the villains. The villains drive this show on the rails because trains.
I do, in fact, see what you did there.
Yeah. Hikaru no Ga.
I'm still mad at you for that. I don't know that I'll ever not be mad at you for that. I don't know that I won't.
But yeah, let us know what you think about the Shadow Line in the comments below.
Please do.
Do you like them? Do you dislike them? Do you feel nothing? Don't forget to join us on all the things, and we'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.
Thank you for watching.